Myles Garrett is no longer a Cleveland Brown, and the shock is shaking the AFC. The Rams did not just add a star, they took the face of Cleveland's defense. Now one team is chasing a Super Bowl, while the other is staring at a painful new question. Cleveland did not lose a normal defender. Cleveland lost the man who defined its defense for almost a decade. Myles Garrett was the first-name opponents feared, the player fans trusted, and the one Brown who could change a game without touching the ball. The deal sent Garrett to the Los Angeles Rams. In return, Cleveland received edge rusher Jared Verse and 3 draft picks, a 2027 first-round pick, a 2028 second-round pick, and a 2029 third-round pick. On paper, that is a huge package. In real life, it still hurts. That is why this trade feels like a bombshell. Garrett was not just a sack artist. He was the symbol of Cleveland's hope on defense. Even when the offense failed, even when the season got ugly, Garrett gave the Browns a reason to believe one snap could flip the game. For the Rams, this is simple. They are not waiting for a long rebuild. They are not selling patience. They are trying to win now, and Garrett is the kind of player teams chase when they believe the window is open. For the Browns, the message is darker. If you trade a player like Garrett, you are not making a small fix. You are choosing a new road, and that road may be rough. Garrett's numbers were already strong enough to make him a Cleveland legend. He became the Browns' all-time sack leader. He won Defensive Player of the Year honors. He kept stacking double-digit sack seasons while every offense knew where he was lined up, but his value was bigger than sacks. He changed blocking plans. Tight ends stayed in to help. Running backs had to chip him. Quarterbacks felt him before he arrived. That kind of pressure does not always show up in a simple stat line, but coaches know it changes games. In 2025, Garrett hits another level with a league-leading 23 sacks. That kind of season does not happen by accident. It comes from speed, strength, timing, and a motor that never gives quarterbacks peace. When a defender can take over games like that, he becomes more than a star. He becomes the plan. That is what Cleveland just lost. The Browns can replace snaps. They can replace a position on the depth chart, but they cannot easily replace the fear Garrett created before the ball was even snapped. This is why fans feel the trade in their chest. The Browns did not only move a great player, they moved the player most connected to their defensive identity. The Rams have never been shy about big swings. When they see a chance to win, they attack. They did it when they built a Super Bowl team before, and this move carries the same feeling. Los Angeles looked at the roster, looked at the conference, and decided that Myles Garrett was worth the price. That price was high. Jared Verse is not a throw-in. He is young, powerful, and already seen as one of the best young edge rushers in football. Giving him up means the Rams are not thinking about value 5 years from now. They are thinking about pressure this season. Garrett gives them something every contender wants. He gives them a closer on defense. Late in games, when the crowd is loud and the quarterback must throw, Garrett can wreck everything. He can beat a tackle clean. He can force a fumble. He can make a smart quarterback rush a bad pass. For a team chasing the Super Bowl, that matters. Playoff games are often decided by 3 or 4 snaps. One sack can kill a drive. One strip sack can change a season. One hit can make a quarterback play scared. The Rams did not trade for Garrett to sell jerseys. They traded for him because they believe he can help finish the job. Jared Verse now walks into one of the hardest jobs in football. He is not just joining the Browns. He is joining them as the player tied to Myles Garrett's exit. That makes every snap heavier, but Verse is not a weak return. He was a first-round pick by the Rams in 2024. He quickly became a major young defender. He brings power, speed, and edge-setting ability. He is not Garrett, but he is not a random replacement either. That matters for Cleveland. If the Browns had traded Garrett only for future picks, the message would have felt even more empty. Verse gives them a real player right now. He gives fans someone to watch. He gives the coaching staff a defender they can build with. Still, the shadow is huge. Verse can play well and still be compared to Garrett every week. If he gets a sack, people will ask if Garrett would have gotten 2. If he has a quiet game, the trade will get louder. That is unfair, but it is also how blockbuster deals work. The Browns need Verse to be himself. They need him to grow into a leader, not chase a ghost. If he tries to be Garrett, he will lose. If he becomes the best Jared Verse, Cleveland has a real starting point. The Browns may not call this a rebuild. Teams almost never like that word. They may call it a reset, a retool, or a move for long-term strength. But fans know what this looks like. When a team trades its best player, gets a young defender, and adds future draft picks, it usually means the front office is thinking past the next few months. The 2027 first-round pick is not helping them win a game this Sunday. The 2028 second-round pick is not sacking quarterbacks now. The 2029 third-round pick is a piece for a team that may look very different by then. That does not mean Cleveland is giving up. It means the Browns are trying to turn one superstar into several chances. That can work, but it takes patience, good scouting, and good coaching. Bad teams often lose trades like this because picks only matter if you use them well. This move also puts pressure on the offense. Without Garrett covering up mistakes, Cleveland needs more balance. The quarterback situation must settle. The run game must help. The defense cannot live on one superstar anymore. That is the painful part. Garrett made the Browns feel dangerous even when the rest of the roster looked broken. Now Cleveland has to prove the team can stand without him. This trade is huge, but it should not be judged in 1 week. The Rams can win the headline today and still lose the long-term deal if Garrett gets hurt, slows down, or does not turn pressure into playoff wins. A superstar trade only pays off if it leads to January results. Cleveland can look beaten today and still win later if Verse becomes a top defender and the picks turn into starters. Fans do not want to hear that right now, but that is how trades work. The pain is immediate. The answer takes years. There is also a football truth people forget. Garrett is great, but one defender cannot fix everything. Cleveland had years with Garrett and still did not become a steady playoff power. That is not all on him. It shows how hard team building really is. For the Rams, Garrett raises the ceiling. He does not guarantee a parade. For the Browns, losing him lowers the floor. It does not guarantee disaster. That is why the honest answer is not simple. Los Angeles made the loud move. Cleveland made the painful move. The winner will be decided by playoff games, draft nights, and what Verse becomes when the noise fades. Garrett's move changes the NFC. The Rams now have one of the scariest defensive weapons in football. Every offensive coordinator facing Los Angeles must plan for him first. That can open chances for the rest of the defense, because extra help on Garrett means someone else gets a lighter matchup. It also sends a message to other contenders. The Rams are not playing safe. They are not waiting for the future. They are telling the league that this season matters right now. That can shake a conference. It can also put pressure on rivals to make their own moves. For Cleveland, the AFC North just got harder. This division punishes weakness, and without Garrett, the Browns lose their biggest defensive equalizer. The trade also changes the locker room story. Players notice when a franchise moves its best player, and Cleveland must make sure the room does not read this move as a surrender. Their toughest job is not replacing his sacks, but replacing the belief he carried. Myles Garrett wanted a chance to win bigger. The Rams wanted a monster for a Super Bowl push. The Browns wanted a younger edge rusher in Verse and future picks, but they must now prove this plan is more than a soft landing. This trade will follow both teams all season. Every Garrett sack in Los Angeles will sting Cleveland, while every strong Verse game will offer hope. Cleveland lost its face. Los Angeles found its weapon. Now the NFL waits to see which side pays for it.